Hey y'all, today we're making Silpancho from Bolivia. We'll be using about 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 to 2 cups of plain breadcrumbs, half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of cumin, a tablespoon of salt, 2 cups of white rice, 3 large potatoes, 1 to 2 eggs per silpancho, and we'll dice up some onions and tomatoes for the salsita. After washing your potatoes, put them in cold water and bring it to a boil. We'll cook for about 25 minutes. While the potatoes are going, we're doing 2 cups of rice. First, we're going to toast the rice on high heat. For this style of rice, you have to make sure that you're stirring it continuously, otherwise the rice will burn. Do this for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm using a 2-to-1 ratio, so for 2 cups of rice, I'm using 4 cups of water. I've already rinsed the rice after it toasted, and I brought the water to a boil. Now I'm just adding the toasted rice back into the boiling water. Give it a stir and a little chorrito of oil. Cook it on low for about 25 minutes. While all of that's cooking, let's prep the meat. Again, we're using half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of cumin, about a tablespoon of salt, and 1 to 2 cups of breadcrumbs. I'll start off by adding 1 cup to the mixture and leaving 1 cup on the side. That way I can go by feel. If it's a little too moist, I'll add some more of the breadcrumbs. Take your time mixing here because you want to make sure that everything is incorporated well. And don't forget about all the breadcrumbs that fall to the bottom of the bowl. Silpancho comes from the Bolivian city Cochabamba. It comes from a Quechua word, silpancho, which means thin and pounded meat. Even though all of these ingredients are very common, when you prepare them in this way together, the explosion of flavor is just insane. After kneading everything together for a couple of minutes, it still feels a little too wet, so I'm putting about half a cup more of breadcrumbs. So it'll be about 1.5 cups total. Now that everything is mixed well, I'll separate it into 5 portions. Grab a big chunk, roll it between your hands, and make it nice and smooth. We're going to put it between some parchment paper and smush it really thin. The timer went off for the rice, so let's see how it came out. Looking pretty good. Grab your favorite seasoning and season to taste. Of course, gotta have the garlic salt. The potatoes have also finished cooking. I peeled them and sliced them into big chunks. Now I've got my wok full of hot oil and I'm gonna go ahead and fry them just a little bit. You want them to come out nice and golden brown. So that's just a couple minutes on each side. When your papitas look this gorgeous, take them out and put them on a paper towel. Now it's time to roll out the silpancho. I can't remember where I saw this hack, but if you crumple up your parchment paper before you use it, it's so much easier to work with. I don't want to get my hands dirty again, so I'm going to use the parchment paper to grab a ball of silpancho meat. Put it in the center of the bottom one and kind of smush it down a little. Then you're going to take a rolling pin and roll it out until it's really, really thin. I like to turn it as I go so it's rolled out a little more evenly. The goal is to roll it out the size of your dinner plate. Flip the plate over and cut out the excess. I stacked all 5 silpanchos on top of each other and none of them got stuck, so don't feel like you have to put any parchment between them or anything. Make sure your oil is nice and hot. I have it set to medium-high, and you'll cook for maybe 30 to 45 seconds on each side. Be careful when you flip it. It's really easy to tear. If that happens, no big deal. Just make sure everything gets flipped over and cooked on both sides. That's looking pretty good to me. Hit it with a little salt while it's still hot. I switched out the oil and let my pan cool down a little. Now I can make some over medium eggs. You want the yolk to be runny because it adds an extra element to the silpancho that's amazing. Now that everything's finally cooked, I'm going to show y'all how to plate it. First, we're going to start off with a bed of rice. It usually takes up most of the plate. Next, grab some of your gorgeous papitas. Because they're so big, I'm just using 3, but use as many as you want. They're so good. Grab a silpancho and lay it on top like a beautiful, delicious blanket. Next, you'll put your over easy or your over medium egg right on top. You can use 1 or 2. For this one, I'm just using 1. Before I started plating, I finally diced some onions and some tomatoes. So now, put some of that on the side here. If you want it a little spicy, you can add some jalapenos, you can add some serranos, any kind of hot pepper, or you can leave it off like I did here. Top it all off at the end with a little diced cilantro. Don't forget to subscribe to see which country's cuisine we'll be cooking next. Y'all, my mouth is watering. This smells so good. I hope you enjoyed cooking with cariño.